So I just got out of the theater from seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and in the words of Doctor Strange, things just got out of hand. Well, that was Sorcerer Supreme Strange. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I have to say, I absolutely love this movie, and I'll kind of start off with a general overview and then kind of break down some of the details and some of the favorite scenes that I had from this. But overall, I just think it was a really good movie. It had a lot of hype going into it, I will say that. And in my opinion, it delivered on the hype. I think there's going to be a lot of people that said it didn't deliver on the hype just because, like, there was supposed to be a cameo here. Oh, is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man going to be in there? Is this going to be in there? We're going to see Ghost Rider. Like, there was so many different, like, opinions and different things of what could be in this movie. And honestly, I came out of it, like, I mean, there were cameos, don't get me wrong, but it was nice that the story was really centered on Strange and Wanda. Don't even get me started on Wanda. Like, Wanda absolutely carried this movie. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen's acting was phenomenal. You can tell she really cares about the character, and I think that's just something that's super important. Obviously, one of the main things about this, going into this movie, you're expecting, what cameos are we going to see, what's going to be there. I came out of it just like, wow, we really got performances from Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen. Sam Raimi, we got classic Sam Raimi elements, Evil Dead elements, we got some horror elements. There was some really, honestly scary moments in this movie, like jump scare scenes, and I'm like, wait, where did that come from? I usually go into a movie anticipating that this is going to be a horror movie. Like when I saw Annabelle Creation, I screamed multiple times in that movie, and there was multiple people there was one person in particular that came up and was like, hey, can I sit with you? There were some moments like that in this movie where you're like, okay, I'm taken aback by the jump scares and that kind of thing. I will say my theater, it wasn't particularly loud, like the volume, but if it was like cranked up volume, like if I saw that in IMAX and like speakers, I would have been jumping like crazy. A lot of the fight scenes, something that was really cool, like the very first scene at the very beginning when Doctor Strange is fighting the octopus thing, there was a lot of moments that felt like Spider-Man 2, like a fight out of Spider-Man 2. And that was really interesting because a lot of superhero movie fights, me and one of my good friends were talking about this after the movie. A lot of the fight scenes in movies nowadays, just they aren't kind of like they were. There's a lot of CGI, which obviously there's CGI in this too, but it felt more down to earth in those fight scenes. It almost seemed like that first fight scene at the very beginning, like after Doctor Strange, is at the wedding. It almost felt like the lighting, everything was kind of like a Spider-Man film, and that was really cool. But jumping back into the overall, before we break down the specifics, yeah, like the Sam Raimi horror aspects were really cool. There was a lot of interesting camera angles that they worked with when kind of doing the horror stuff that is way different than MCU stuff that I typically see, and that was fun to see as well. We got to jump from universe to universe, which is cool. We didn't kind of delve as much into the multiverse as maybe I was expecting, but I was okay with that because the character development that we got throughout the movie was absolutely incredible. So starting out the beginning of the movie, we see the Defender Strange, the Doctor Strange with the ponytail, which a joke gets made about that later, which is pretty funny. We see them jumping with America Chavez, jumping from kind of like multiverses, running from this monster that we kind of just previously spoke of, the tentacle monster. And he gets killed early on. I was like, I'm pretty sure he was going to be a good part of this movie. Comes back later, but kills right at the beginning, just kills off, and then him and America Chavez get thrown to our universe, Universe 616, which it gets, they talk about this being, I think this is the second movie where they talk about Earth 616, where Mysterio does it as well, in Far From Home. But what was really cool is when they get there, Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange, medding. Can I speak? What is a medding? I'm not even sure. Wedding. He's at a wedding and he sees the fight going on, so he just kind of jumps off and just goes right into the fight. He protects America Chavez's character from the squid thing. We get a really cool scene. There was a lot of gore in this movie too. To be a PG-13 movie, this movie went all out, and I appreciated that. That you could tell, hey, this movie could have been rated R if we'd have pushed it a little bit further. But no, so America Chavez's character, of course, can jump from multiverse to multiverse, which is really cool. And something that's unique about them, out of all the other universes, they're the only one, which is really cool. But anyway, Doctor Strange saves her, and, immediately from that moment, we're thinking, where did this, monster come from? Well, funny enough, Wong comes back, helps with that fight and everything, and Wong's like, hey, this isn't magic. This is like witchcraft. And Doctor Strange is like, who can I talk to? Oh yeah, Wanda, the person that enslaved all of Westview essentially and had, that whole thing. Maybe I can go talk to her. So he goes and talks to her, and it's a really cool scene because it's like it's an apple orchard. Wanda's like, I gave up on all that, that magic stuff, right? Well, no, like immediately, like he catches her because she mentions the name of the person that he's looking for, and she's like, I never mentioned the name, did I? Doctor Strange is like, nope, knew immediately. The whole like orchard just melts away, and then boom, we get Doctor Strange and Wanda's right there in this barren looking wasteland, right? Well, right after that, he's essentially like, we're not gonna just give her away, this, that. Wanda's like, listen here, all right? This is what I want to tell you, all right? If you don't give her to me, then it's not gonna be Wanda that shows up. It's gonna be the Scarlet Witch. And that line, I was just like, Wanda, do it. Which was cool. So she shows up there, and that whole fight scene it was just insane. She shows up, and you've got all the sorcerers there, and they build like up a wall and everything there. But the funny thing is, Wanda, she can't get through. Like at first she can't get through, but she actually goes through to one of the sorcerers' head. Like she essentially breaks one of their minds, gets in there, and from that moment just makes she says run. Runs, knocks everybody down, gets in. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much individual detail because obviously you've seen the movie if you're here. But a lot of really cool moments. There was some possession moments that was really cool where Wanda's going to another universe and possessing that Wanda there. And that was really creepy. Me and my friend talked about it. Evil Dead kind of like style, which was so cool to see. Like she was just walking around. The music was really cool. And yeah, she gets possessed, and that was like, honestly, in all honesty, like horror. She like looks up the window, and boom, there's the Scarlet Witch, or our Wanda essentially. But anyway, jumping from multiverse to multiverse, America Chavez can't control that power that she has there, but they jump to this one multiverse. I forget the name of it, what number the universe was, but obviously it's not 616. That's ours, but it's made aware to Strange that these multiverses these universes are numbered, right? And that was really cool. And Rachel McAdams' character, she was there, essentially his whole, his love interest from all the other Doctor Strange, everything there. So that was really cool to see her come back, because it was interesting, because we didn't see her since the first Doctor Strange, so it was nice to actually get her character back, because Rachel McAdams is a great actress too. So we get there, and from that moment that him and America Chavez's character they're kind of just strained up. He can't use his magic, and from that moment there, we're introduced to the Illuminati. And the Illuminati there, we have Black Bolt, which we actually see a moment where he screams that universe's Doctor Strange to death, and they're just gone. So we know how strong his power is. We also see, just a lot of different. That's where we see Captain Marvel, Maria Rambeau. Like that was really cool. We get to see John Krasinski introduced to the MCU. Kinda, I think he'll be back for our Fantastic Four, but that universe is. So it was really cool to see. Obviously, we get Charles Xavier there. That was a moment. And he rolls up in his classic like X-Men cartoon style, like his wheelchair. Well, it's kind of floating, but you get the point. And he like shows up there. We actually get the moment where like me and my friend talked about it, the classic meme where you get him touching his head and he's got like the kind of like the wavelengths and everything there. So you see that. Let me just say this. All right, we get introduced to this new world. Oh, obviously Peggy Carter shows up. But let me just tell you, when Scarlet Witch is trying to, and she essentially her whole point is to take America Chavez's power so she can go to another multiverse and essentially take care of her kids. So if anything ever goes wrong, she can always find a solution in another universe. Well, she's showing up here, and these Avengers, I mean, we got Captain Marvel, right? We've got Black Bolt, who can, was essentially scream someone to death. They're all there, and they try to stop Scarlet Witch. They show up. She's there. She's beating up all these like Ultron robots that are in that universe, which is satisfying that she got to do that, because obviously we know the events of Age of Ultron. But they show up and they're like, John Krasinski's Reed Richards. Obviously, they make it, smartest man. He looks awesome in the suit, by the way. Super excited for that. But they're all just standing there like, look, Black Bolt can scream you to death. Look, let's just not get too crazy, right? Let's not get too crazy. We don't. Well, okay. She's like, with what mouth? Scarlet Witch says that. And they look over, it pans back over, his mouth's gone. And he's freaking out, tries to yell, explodes. Sorry if this is TMI, explodes his head from the inside. Like, hold on, what? She absolutely wipes out. Scarlet Witch, Wanda just wipes out this whole Avengers, including Captain Marvel, all of the... And it's very, like, similar to, if you've seen Invincible, when Omni-Man just lays out everyone there. And it's pretty brutal. Like, you see blood. Like, she's got blood on her face, like oil from all the Ultron things that she took out. Very intense. So it was really cool to see Wanda do that. I mean, she was just super strong. Like, nobody could touch Wanda in this movie. Literally no one. The only one that could stop Wanda is if Wanda decided. So essentially, Doctor Strange gets thrown to a universe that's just barren wasteland, and it's got the Sorcerer Supreme Strange. It's the same Doctor Strange from the What If series. There's a really cool fight scene with like musical notes and like, you've got kind of like the evil undertones with the Sorcerer Supreme Strange. You've got our Doctor Strange sending, and the notes are colliding, making like a beautiful mosaic of music. And that was a really fun scene. But our Doctor Strange wins. But something that he ends up doing, he ends up kind of sleepwalking, essentially, or no, what is it called? Death walk. Whatever it's called in the movie. He ends up taking over the because he has to be able to go to that universe, there has to be another version of that person there that he could kind of take over. Well, there is one there, even though in our universe, because you have to think about it, like, even though that universe, our Doctor Strange there, who is he going to go to? Well, the dead body, the Defender Strange at the very beginning that we talked about would comes back, and he takes it over, and he's like a zombie Doctor Strange, and it's so freaking cool. Like, seeing, it's pretty gruesome too. Like, but he fights Wanda like that. He essentially ends up telling America Chavez, like, she was betrayed by the Defender Strange at the beginning and almost killed by him. She thinks our Doctor Strange is going to do that, and she actually accepts her fate. The cool thing about it is Doctor Strange is like, no, you can do it. Like, look, every step that you took got you here. And so from that moment there, she like punches Wanda and opens up another universe. Obviously, she can't beat Wanda, but what she does is she lets Wanda see her kids being scared of her and the other versions universe of Wanda trying to defend her, even though that she knows she can't. And it let her know that, hey, there's always a version of me there that is taking care of them, so I can live with that peace. So she wants to destroy this whole temple that they ended up going to. I can't remember what the book's called at this moment. Sorry, I'm so hyped coming home from the movie. So she ends up destroying that essentially, and ends up, it was a really emotional moment, because it was kind of like a farewell to Wanda. I don't think she's gone, but I guess you never know. Doctor Strange gets to tell his love interest, he says, I love you in every universe, even though it doesn't work out. And that was a really cool moment. It all works out kind of in the end. Although at the very end, Doctor Strange is just casually walking, and the third eye that was on the Sorcerer Supreme just opens up on his forehead, and we're like, oh, so that's a thing there. So that's a lot of the big moments. Bruce Campbell's character comes back, and he's the pizza guy. He's like, the pizza guy always gets paid. That was a lot of fun too. And so Doctor Strange like puts him under a spell where he's like beating himself up for like 3 weeks. The very, very last post-credit scene is just him being like, oh, it's over now, the spell, but it's talking about the movie, so I was just like, I sat through all the credits for that, but it is what it is, it's fine. But no, like, the main point of this movie, the main point that I took, I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed the lack of cameos, they wanted to see all that stuff, but Wanda's character really stole the show. Like, you could see the pain in her eyes, you could see how much she wanted to just be with her children. She didn't want to hurt other people, but if they were stopping her from getting to her children, she's going to do anything that she can to, right that and get back to them. And, it's kind of like the love of a mother. It was like love of what your family is, but, also the greater good and knowing that there's another universe out there where everything is good, even though it may not be perfect for me. And that was a really important, lesson I took from this movie. I always look for kind of the beautiful moments, and this movie had a lot of those. So I highly, highly, highly recommend seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think you will love it. There's a lot of horror elements. There's a lot of great moments from our favorite characters. It's a great sequel. A lot of Thor: Dark World wasn't the best sequel, whatever. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, great sequel. Obviously we're gonna get some more Doctor Strange in the future, and whatever that entails, I'm looking forward to it, whether that's the Disney Plus series, whatever that could be. But yeah, sorry, that's a little all over the place. My excitement is like up to here for this movie, so I'm kind of all over the place with my memory and stuff like that. But obviously, what's your favorite moment from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? What was your favorite cameo? What was a cameo that you wish you saw? Let me know, but I really appreciate you watching. I'm just super excited about this movie and super excited for the direction of the MCU. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon.